President Biden's second ever overseas trip as president, with a first stop in the ancient city of Rome, where the second Catholic ever elected to the White House has met with the leader of the Catholic Church, Pope Francis. That meeting, again, lasted about an hour and a half. Biden today describing the meeting as wonderful as the two men exchanged gifts and spoke on personal matters. ABC News Chief White House correspondent Cecilia Vega joins us from the Vatican there with more on this meeting. Cecilia, I have to ask you, what did these two men speak about?
Yeah, you know, Kenneth, this was a really important meeting for President Biden and Pope Francis. And I got to tell you, it's a little strange because it ended a while ago, but we're just starting to get the details about what they talked about. So climate change actually came up in a very big way during this meeting. President Biden just told us, reporters, that they discussed the need and moral responsibility to deal with this issue. And this is an issue where the two leaders have great agreement on climate change and seeing it from a moral perspective. And we had been talking about that infrastructure bill hanging over the president's head leading up to this. You know, it still does have $555 billion dedicated to fighting climate change in it. That's the most the federal government will have ever spent, assuming it gets passed, on fighting climate change. But they did have to strip away a number of major ways of fighting climate change in order to appease moderates like Senator Joe Manchin. So that's not in there anymore. But nonetheless, the president was here talking about it today. They are on the same page when it comes to that particular issue. Again,
Cecilia, this meeting an hour and a half long. What more can you tell us about the relationship between these two men? Of course, we know with President Biden, it was said that this was going to be a deeply personal meeting for this Catholic president.
It was deeply personal. In the video that we received from inside that one-on-one, you know, you can see that they have a very close relationship, that they're actually friends. There was a lot of laughing. There was a lot of joking. They exchanged gifts that you mentioned earlier. This is the fourth time that they've met now, at the first time face-to-face since President Biden took office. And we heard the president just a few minutes ago tell us that the Pope blessed his rosary. That's something that he wears around his wrists all the time. You know, he is a deeply spiritual president, one of the most perhaps devout leaders that we've had, openly devout church-going leaders in decades as our country. He goes to Mass every weekend. He keeps a framed picture of him and President Biden on the desk behind him there in the Oval Office. You know, the Pope told Biden that he believes he's a good Catholic. So President Biden came out of this with a lot of smiles today, Kenneth.
Definitely. And when it comes to President Biden, he's still going to Mass. He's also still receiving communion. The president said abortion did not come up with this in his meeting with the Pope there, and that the Pope mentioned that he should keep receiving communion here. So was this an issue overshadowing the meeting?
Well, that statement from that President Biden just made right now about that statement from the Pope on abortion is really significant. And it's significant because of this. Because in just a few weeks' time, American bishops are going to have this big meeting back in the United States, where one of the items that they're going to be discussing is whether to basically publicly renounce and deny the ability for American politicians to take communion. Politicians like President Biden, who are Catholic and opposed and in support of abortion rights. Now, Pope Francis had been opposed to that idea of, as he said, mixing politics and religion. But he's really sending a strong message to those conservative Catholics back in the United States. One, by hosting this meeting here, the very first stop of this European visit by President Biden. And two, by telling him, you're a good Catholic. Just because you've got these views on abortion doesn't mean that you shouldn't be receiving communion when you go to Mass every week. As a Catholic, for this president, I'm sure that was a really big deal for him to hear, and something that he said is very personal and didn't want to go into details on, Kenneth.
All right, our Cecilia Vega there, our Chief White House correspondent, breaking it down for us there in Vatican City. Thank you, Cecilia.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.